What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about DAG today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. DAG, Constellation, sitting here at about 5 cents, 5.1 cents right now, having a nice kind of pullback off of our relative highs there at 9.7 cents, 9.6 cents, wherever that was. Pulling back, consolidating, looking like you broke out, then broke back in, whatever. I don't know if you broke back in, or really what you might have done is you actually might just be back testing this trend line here, right? You literally, it's like you broke out of this, back tested it for support, while simultaneously getting some kind of double bottom in the mix here, having lower lows in a closing dynamic, while higher lows on the RSI dynamic gives you bullish divergence, just to be fair. Looking at this on a weekly basis, from a relative low to a relative high, pulled back to your 382, very common thing to do, very beautiful thing to do, especially in a strong move like this. You pull back to your 382 and then you rock it from there. It also does look like you have this kind of cup with handle look. Cup and handles tend to happen often with bull flags, right? Like a bull flag, that tends to be the other half of the cup with the handle part. So very good culmination there. I absolutely believe this thing will rip, and whenever it does, it's not going to stop here where it has been stopping for the past like however many years. It's likely going to not just break right above this line that it's been held down by for years. It will likely tear through it, destroy it, absolutely annihilate it, and we'll likely see from the high to the low here, or actually this low here, from an overall retracement of this range, we'll probably see a 618 to 886 retracement overall. From a high to a low, I would expect a 786 to 886 retracement should be considered, actually, because you're already so high, you're already so developed in this fib range. I don't think, normally I would think you stop here at the golden ratio, but I don't think you do here. I think you actually continue up to the 786, 886 area, something between 23 cents to 31.7 cents. That's 23.17 cents to 31.7 cents. You're at 5.1 cents now, and this is where I assume you'll be by the end of this next move. The end of this next move, when is that, you might be asking? I think that's going to be by the end of February, maybe sometime in the middle of March, but I think it's really, most of it's going to happen by the end of this month, and then also a good bit of it going into February, end of February, middle of February. So 350% to 500% is what I'm expecting for DAG here. No lie, man. We look at this thing on a market cap basis, $181 million. Let's just call it 180 for rounding's sake. 180 million. If you were to 10x that, that's 1.8 billion. If you were to 100x that, that's 18 billion. 18 billion is a milestone. It's an absolutely phenomenal accomplishment for a market cap, for any crypto to achieve. But 18 billion is not impossible. It's something that most cryptos are, I think, able to achieve. You're at 181 million now. 18 billion, just so you know, the top 12 coins have 18 billion. Well, maybe I should say the top 11 coins have 18 billion or more in them, right? And that's at this point in the cycle. What about the finale of the cycle, right? What about the finale? My bet would be that probably all of these things, all the top 100 coins have an 18 billion or higher market cap by the end of the cycle. If not, at least, like truthfully, at least like around 15 billion is what I would think. So this thing doing a 100x, absolutely possible. Absolutely possible. 18 billion, by the way, that's not even that crazy, right? We've got the top 11 and 18 billion now. Probably the whole top 100 will be 18 billion by the end of the cycle. What if you were to see 36 billion? What if you were to see 70 billion, which is also really crazy to see, but totally attainable in your first cycle? If you were to see $70 billion market cap, man, you're going to see a multi 100x growth from here. And I don't know how high you're going to go. There's not enough data in this chart really for me to make that kind of prediction. But based off of last cycle's high to this current cycle low, the expectation would be that we'd probably see anything from $1.06 to $3.18 at a minimum. It's $1.06. Let's call it $1.07 to $3.20 at a minimum. That's your primary target zone. The secondary target zone is as follows: between the 1886 to the 2618. That puts you at anything from $74 to $7.41. I don't think you go all the way up to $74, right? That's probably too crazy. Yeah, too crazy. But something you really could go as high as 25 bucks, I think. I think you could. That would be your like theoretical, absolutely crazy masterpiece of a high if you were to do it. Would be it would be at about 25 bucks, but I doubt you get there personally. So let's look at the next fib range, the 1886 to 200 area, which is a very common range. A lot of like cryptos, altcoins like to top off in this area, and that's at about 140x to a 200x. I could really see DAG topping off at $10 by the end of the cycle. You're at 5 cents now. That's phenomenal, right? $10, genuine. If I had to make a price prediction right now, what price would I think DAG is at by the end of the cycle? My price prediction would be $10. Absolutely, I feel confident in that, $10. Minimum expectation, it's still pretty good. It's a 21x from here. That would put you at about $1.06. And then the height of that minimum expectation, it's about a 60x, still really good, $3.18. If this is your first crypto cycle, if you're coming over from traditional markets or traditional finance, from the stock markets, whatever, and you hear these numbers, you're like, that's crazy. This kid doesn't know what he's talking about. The last cycle low here to the cycle high that we experienced. Just so you know, this is crypto. This isn't your average stock or market participant. It did a 452.5x. 452.5x from March 2019 to August 2021. Okay. I'm just talking about a 60x to a 20x at a minimum, right? And then even at like my most bullish realistic maximum that I could have, it's basically on par with that. But from here, so likely again, I don't think you probably go here, right? I would assume probably more realistically you go to like 10 to 740, somewhere in that range. But certainly this doesn't seem as crazy now, right? If you're comparing what we did last cycle. So in a more mature market with a more mature asset overall that's holding more mature structural significance on the charts, I don't think it's crazy at all to consider targets that are around $10 by the end of the cycle. In fact, I'm so confident in that. I'm going to put that in this title. I swear, guys, by the end of this cycle, we'll come back, we'll revisit this video. I don't ever do this stuff, but I will literally, I'll post like a link to this at the end of the cycle and be like, we knew here on the 10th of January that $10 was where this thing was going by the end of the cycle. And I'll leave it at that. Hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. Bye.